Thank you for joining us on Coffee Break, brought to you by the Middle Alabama Area Agency on Aging, or M4A. M4A is a part of a network of 13 area agencies on aging that cover all 67 counties across the state. We are located in Alabaster, and we cover Blount, Chilton, Shelby, St. Clair, and Walker counties. We would love to find out how we can help your family today. For previous episodes of Coffee Break, feel free to check out our YouTube channel. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 1:05 here in Birmingham area, so we're going to go ahead and kick things off and just get going from here and try to have you guys out of here within the next hour or so. I want to welcome everyone in, especially those who are new to the Coffee Break. Just a reminder about what Coffee Break is. It's what we consider to be a brief respite for caregivers. So this is actually an opportunity for caregivers and those family members who are helping caregivers with care to take a moment of relaxation to come in and join. Each week we have one of these. We have a guest speaker, so we hope that this is information that you can take back and use to ease the role of your caregiving journey and have fun while you're doing it and take a little bit of a break. So we will go ahead and get started. Again, this is Coffee Break. This is our fourth session. We do record these, so just wanted to make everyone aware that we record these videos and we post them on our YouTube channel, which you can find at our M4A website or on our Facebook page. We post these kind of in the news feed. So we'll go ahead and get started. Coffee Break is brought to you by two of our in-house programs, our new PANDA project, which is providing Alzheimer's and dementia assistance, as well as our traditional Alabama Cares traditional caregiver support program. So PANDA primarily just covers Shelby County for those living with dementia, whereas Alabama Care supports all of our counties, not necessarily those who are dealing with dementia. So today we want to welcome our guest speaker, Ms. Brianna Thomas. Brianna is actually a staff member at M4A, and she is our wellness coordinator who implements our Living Well Alabama program. And so she's going to go into a little bit more detail on what Living Well Alabama does, how they're funded, and maybe how they can help with your journey as a caregiver, as well as a family member, as an individual as a whole. So, Brianna, I will let you take it over from there. Let's make sure that you're unmuted. If you are probably
Hello.
Hey.
All right, good stuff. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Brianna Thomas. I'm the wellness coordinator at M4A. So I work with the Living Well Alabama, which I'll talk about a little bit more. Tai Chi, which I'll also talk about. We also have programs bingo size and health promotions. And both of those are typically done in our senior centers that we sponsor. Next slide, or the next two, slide 1, 2. All right, so about Living Well Alabama, we received a grant from the Administration for Community Living and the National Council on Aging in 2018. We were a grant recipient. We're called Living Well Alabama, but the project as a whole is the Chronic Disease Self-Management Program, and that was started at Stanford University in 1995. And so as a program, CDSMP for short, is offered worldwide in many different languages. Tomando is the Spanish version, and that's often taught to the Spanish population in the States. We've hosted workshops in all of our service counties, so Blount, Chilton, St. Clair, Shelby, and Walker, and we are also able to teach the workshop in Jefferson, and we've done a few workshops there as well. Train lay leaders, everybody that teaches the workshop goes through a 4-day training. So right now we have about 20 trained lay leaders and 2 master trainers. I'm one of them, and our project director, Margaret Grubick, is the other master trainer. Right now, we have a virtual workshop that's going to start next week. It's our first virtual workshop since the pandemic has begun, and we'll go into a little bit more details in the following slides. Next. All right. So about the workshop. So it's a 6-week workshop. We meet once a week. for about 2.5 hours. It's facilitated by 2 trained lay leaders. And there's a 20-minute break included. So many people say 2.5 hours is a long time to sit, and we agree. But there's a 20-minute break in the program that you can take. You can go for a walk, you can talk to people in the group. It's just a 20-minute break for you to step away from the program and come back in. For the virtual workshops, they're going to be about 5 minutes. All right. So chronic illnesses are a health problem. And health problems can be characterized as either acute or chronic. Acute health problems usually begin suddenly, have a single cause, are often easily diagnosed, last a short time, and get better with medications, surgery, rest, and time. Most people with acute illnesses are cured and return to normal health. But chronic illnesses are different, right? They usually begin slowly and proceed slowly. For example, a person may slowly develop a blockage of the arteries over decades and then could have a heart attack or a stroke. Arthritis generally starts with brief, annoying twinges that gradually increase. Unlike acute disease, chronic illnesses usually have multiple causes that vary over time. These causes may include heredity, lifestyle, like smoking, lack of exercise, poor diet, stress, and so on, and exposure to environmental factors such as secondhand smoke or air pollution, and to physiological factors such as low level of thyroid hormones or change in the brain chemistry that can cause depression. The combination of many causes and unknown factors can be frustrating for those of us who want those quick answers. It's difficult for both the doctor and the patient when clear answers just aren't available. Chronic illnesses usually lead to more symptoms and loss of physical or mental functioning. With chronic illness, many people assume that the symptoms they're experiencing are due to the disease itself. While the disease can certainly cause pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, and the like, it's not the only cause. Each of these symptoms can contribute to the other symptoms. What's more, the symptoms can feed on each other. For example, depression causes fatigue, pain causes physical limitations, and these can lead to poor sleep and more fatigue. Next slide. So this is what we call our self-management toolbox, and we use this very often in our workshops. So these are things we like to think about as we're better managing our chronic conditions. So we have physical activity, medications, decision-making, action planning, breathing techniques, understanding emotions, problem solving, using your mind, sleep, communication, healthy eating, weight management, and working with health professionals. So these are all topics that we go over in the workshop. They're good for people with chronic conditions or caregivers of people with chronic conditions, or just in your normal daily life, like if you have medications to take or if you don't sleep well. These tools can really help anybody in any situation. And so next we're going to talk about decision making, which is in our toolbox. Next slide. So there are 5 steps to decision making. There is number 1, we want to identify the decision. Number 2, we want to write down the pros and cons of each option. Number 3, we want to give a score to each statement from 1 being not important to 5 being very important. Then we want to add each column up and compare the results to find the higher score. And then we want to ask ourselves, does it meet the gut test? For example, does taking a new medication or going on a trip feel right to us? If so, we have an answer. If not, we also have an answer. So here's an example of how any decision could be made using these decision-making steps. Next slide. Cool. So suppose that your doctor has suggested that you consider starting a new medication. You need to decide if it's something you want to do. So you see we have our pros and our cons. And this is the first thing we want to do. We want to list our pros and list our cons. The pros are things that you think might be good for you if you took this medication. For example, it might make me feel better, it could prevent complications, and so on. And then we want to do the same for reasons for not taking the medications, our cons. These are things that you think might be bad, like side effects, remembering to take them, and so on. So once we have all of our pros and all of our cons listed, we want to score them on how important they are to you on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being not important, 5 being very important. After you scored each of the reasons with a number from 1 to 5, you want to add up the scores in each column. So as we can see in this example, the total for pros was 14 and the totals for cons was 11. So the higher score shows our decision, which is to take the new medication. But then we want to ask, does this meet our gut test? Or what is our gut telling us about this? If your answer is yes, then we have a decision. But if our gut says no, then we should probably go with our gut, and your decision is no. You may also consider exploring this further with someone who's an expert. So in this example, we want to inform your doctors of a decision. Even if your gut tells you differently than the numbers, this decision-making technique helps you with that decision, as it helps you understand the reasoning for your decision. So by a show of hands, or if you could comment, just say if you think this might be a good technique for you to use to make a decision. And I can say that this isn't just specific to health or chronic condition related. This can go to anything in life. Do I need a new car? Or what do I want for dinner? Do I want pizza, or should I make a Caesar salad? This method is very open to make a decision. I'm sorry, any questions about that so far? Anybody have a decision that they feel like could go in the decision-making tool?
Well, I would like to add too. You also for the those that are participating in the call, you have the option to post in a Q&A session as well as a chat window. So if you have any questions for Ms. Brianna during this, feel free to type out any questions and we will be able to ask her. It looks like we just had one come through. No, that's just a comment. So I don't think there are any this time, Brianna, but
Okay.
just be mindful if you have any questions as we go along for either Brianna or our staff. Feel free to do so in either the chat window or the Q&A. Thanks.
Cool. So the next part that we're going to go over is an action plan. And this is one of my favorite tools to use in Living Well, Alabama. Because like the decision-making tool, it's something that doesn't apply to just health or just your chronic condition. It can be towards anything. I have decided or made an action plan that I needed to make a doctor's appointment, or it could be if I wanted to travel to Atlanta for this week or a weekend. Anything could fall into this parts of an action plan. So like decision making, there's 5 parts to an action plan. Number 1, we want it to be something you want to do or you decide to do, not something you have to do. Like, I really have to clean the gutters. Well, that's not something you want to do. That's something you have to do. So we really want this to be something you want or decide to do. Number 2, we want it to be achievable. So I would like to run a marathon. It sounds like a good action plan, but if you are not a marathon runner, that may not be achievable for you. So we want it to be achievable for you, something that you can accomplish in a week's time. Number 3, we want it to be action specific. So I want to lose weight. That could be someone's action plan, but what are some specific goals towards reaching that? I want to walk 2 times a week around my neighborhood. And that could be your action plan. It's action specific. It could be achievable to you. It could be 1 time a week, or I want to walk around my house. You can modify it to be achievable for you. Then we wanted to answer the questions of what, which is a specific action, how much in time, distance, or amount, when, and this is the time of day or which days of the week, and how often, which is the number of days in a week. And then we want to know your confidence level of it. So confidence level is between 1 and 10, and it's how sure you are that you're going to complete this action plan. So my action plan this week is I want to jump rope. How much? I want to get 100 jumps in. When? Probably this evening when it's a little cooler in the day. How often? Maybe 3 times, and my confidence level is an 8. And so what we do with this in our workshop is at the end of each session, and there's 6 sessions, we complete an action plan. And when we begin the next session the following week, we check in on those action plans. Were you able to accomplish your action plan? If you weren't, what were some barriers that prevented it? For the jump rope example, yes, I completed it, or no, I didn't complete it. I was only able to jump rope for 50 jumps, or I was only able to jump rope 1 time this week. And then we can see what some barriers, we can talk through barriers of why you weren't able to accomplish your action plan. Next slide. So these things, action plans, decision makings, everything that's in our toolbox, physical activity, taking medications, sleep, working with your medical professional, all these different things are talked about in our Living Well workshops. And like I mentioned earlier, we have a workshop beginning next Tuesday at 1 p.m. It's going to be through Zoom. It's completely virtual. If you attend 4 out of the 6 sessions, you get a $25 grocery gift card. In-person workshops, we have the option of doing mileage reimbursement. And as caregivers, you can be reimbursed for someone to watch your loved one. You can't really do it with the virtuals, but when we get back face-to-face, we will have those options available. If, excuse me, if you're interested in registering, my email address is on there and our phone number, as well as our website, which goes into a little bit more detail, has some different information than what I've included today. All right, so next we're going to talk about Tai Chi for arthritis, which is another program that I coordinate at M4A. We normally do these at I got trained with Tai Chi a few weeks before the pandemic, so I wasn't able to implement it in any of our senior centers before we got our safer at home orders. So Tai Chi for arthritis, it was created by Dr. Paul Lamb. It was designed by him and a team of medical and research experts. It's easy to learn. All high-risk moves have been removed or replaced, and they're proven effective by medical studies and supported by arthritis foundations worldwide. So Dr. Paul Lamb is actually in Australia. So it's been around. Arthritis foundations all around the world acknowledge and recommend Tai Chi for arthritis. And there's also seated Tai Chi for arthritis. So there's some health benefits to Tai Chi. It can increase flexibility and muscle strength, as well as fitness. It provides less stress and more relaxation. It can improve our immunity. It can lower cholesterol and our blood pressure. It can give us a better body posture. There's an integration of the body, mind, and the spirit. It improves our flow of chi, or our life energy, and of just about every other aspect of health Tai Chi can help with. So it's pretty clear cut how Tai Chi goes through each movement. They start with a warm up, and it's just warming up your legs and your shoulders and your arms, getting you ready to begin the commencement. And then there's 6 basic movements in Tai Chi for arthritis. There's the commencing movement, open and close, single whip, waving hands, open and close, the closing movement, and the cool down. So in the video we're about to see, it's an anniversary video that Dr. Paul Lamb and the Tai Chi for Arthritis Foundation created. And I felt like that would be an easier way to see how it goes. So Jeremy, if you want to show the video.
All right, let's see if we can get this to work.
Yeah.
This one's
Anniversary.
Thanks. So that's the gist of Tai Chi for arthritis. That had the 6 basic moves, but then it also had the next 6 advanced moves. And they do each of the 6 moves on each side. So that kind of adds, you get both sides to do it on. I'm not sure if you noticed, but their knees are bent the whole time. So that relieves some pressure on your knees. And none of the moves that were done with their arms were never fully outstretched. They were always bent in. So that helps with the arthritis in their knees and our arms. Don't move our hips too much. So if we have arthritis in our hips, doesn't really affect that as much. As I've said before, they also have a seated Tai Chi for arthritis. They have Tai Chi for immunity, which has been free for the past few weeks since the pandemic began. And this video was on YouTube, but there are some more Tai Chi resources. So there's Tai Chi for arthritis video, which goes through the first 6 basic moves. It goes by session 1, session 2, session 3. It has 6 sessions. Tai Chi for arthritis part 2 that goes into more depth with the basic and advanced movements. And then there's Tai Chi for Health, their product website. And that includes all the Tai Chi for Health products. That's the immunity, arthritis. They have children's Tai Chi. It's an array of resources for Tai Chi that can help. Next slide. All right, so again, I just wanted to mention that we have a virtual workshop starting next Tuesday. If you send me an email, we can create a box and get your book and some goodies sent out. It's a free workshop. If you or anybody else that might like to attend, just have them contact us and we can get them registered. Are there any questions for me?
I don't see any, Brianna. What I would add, or ask you to kind of go over, with the traditional setup, like when things hopefully get back to normal soon, would you kind of review over the way you do your workshops and kind of throughout our region?
Sure. So we have, we can go to libraries or senior centers. We can have workshops anywhere there's an open space. We have typically about 8 to 12 people. It's a small group, so there's usually no less than 8 and no more than 16. And we have the workshops. So at the beginning of each workshop, other than session 1, we review our action plans. At the beginning of the session 1 workshop, we do group introductions, things of that nature. There's brainstorms in there where you just say ideas that come to your head. Like a question could be, what are some ways to remember taking your medications? And so we would just brainstorm and come up with all possible ideas. And you can pick one and see which one might work for you or your loved one. The in-person workshops are normally about 2.5 hours. They go for 6 weeks. We have a book called Living a Healthy Life with Chronic Conditions that's used as a reference and a resource to the program that is given to all of our participants to keep. So if you're in the virtual workshop, we would send the book out to you. If you're in person, you would have it in person.
And that's just for the 5 counties we cover, correct? Not
That's
Jefferson.
for the 5 counties we cover, and then we also can do Jefferson as well.
So if you're interested, if you have listeners here that are interested in potentially being a host site for a Living Well Alabama workshop, or joining one, or being aware of ones that are upcoming, of course, you can visit Brianna's website, livingatwellalabama.org, or you can also email her, or the email address there, wellness@m4a.org, or her personal one, bthomas@m4a.org, and she can get you information on that. Now, Brianna, does Living Well, you guys have a newsletter as well, correct?
We do have a newsletter. We typically put it in the weekly newsletter that M4A sends out, just because that gets a bigger reach. So if you subscribe to the M4A newsletter, this information will be on there as well whenever we get new workshops going.
As well as the Facebook page. Living Well Alabama actually has a standalone Facebook page as well. So she posts all the events, anything that's happening with Living Well in that Facebook page itself, as well as we share it on our M4A, our main M4A Facebook page. To register for the newsletter, which we go over just in just a few slides with our general M4A overview, you can actually register. When you go to our website, it'll prompt you right on the forefront to let you know that you can register for the newsletter to get the general, what Brianna's referring to, our general newsletter, to get information about all sorts of things that are happening in our communities and things that we highlight each week. Right now, we're doing them 2 times a week, but traditionally we do them once a week through email newsletter. So, Brianna, we really thank you for joining us today. I found it to be helpful. I hope that everyone else did as well. For those, it looks like we've had a couple of individuals who have joined a little later than the 1 hour or 1 o'clock hour. If you didn't catch the first half, in a couple of days, we will have this posted live on our YouTube channel, so you can always refer back, as well as refer back to some of our old videos as well. This is our 4th session, so we have a few that are already in our playlist on our YouTube channel under Coffee Break. So just join us on Facebook, and you'll be able to keep up with all that as well. So Brianna, thank you for joining us today, and we really appreciate the knowledge that you gave us. And I think I need to go do some Tai Chi too, because I'm getting pretty sedentary sitting in my chair all day.
I think I was in the bed, and my mind was really restless. So I was doing the Tai Chi moves in my head. And that kind of brought me down a little bit. So even if you don't physically do the moves, doing them in your head can kind of calm you and get you in a good, calm, peaceful mindset. But thanks for having me. If anybody has any questions, just reach out. Thanks.
And if you have any questions that you think of while you're listening to this video, outside of the live video, feel free to email Brianna or the wellness@m4a.org email, as well as panda@m4a.org, and we can make sure that we get you an answer. So we will move on to M4A to close out our coffee break session. Again, we traditionally started this program as kind of an open-ended presentation, but we found that it's a little bit more beneficial, especially with the amount of attendees that we have joined, to do more of a presentation format. So that's kind of what we're looking at moving forward. If you have any questions during this presentation, again, there's a Q&A box that you can ask a question, as well as a chat window that you can send us any kind of information. Okay, so moving on, a little bit about ourselves, about M4A, for those who are not aware and who we are and what we do. We are one of 13 area agencies on aging that cover the state of Alabama. For us in particular, we cover, I think it actually goes over to the next slide. We actually cover, again, all 67 counties. We cover Blount, Chilton, St. Clair, Shelby, and Walker, as well as Jefferson County for our senior employment program. Put simply, our mission is to empower individuals, people living with disabilities, and their caregivers to self-advocate, as well as live independently and safely in the communities of their choice. Our agency's motto is specifically for M4A is assisting all ages at all stages, but we kind of have kind of our network across the state is that we like to promote aging in place. So the way it works is when you initially call or you submit a referral through our online portal, is you will get connected to one of our ADRC representatives, or our Aging and Disability Resource Center. They're kind of our one-stop shop, single point entry for resources where we try to link those individuals who are calling, whether they be a professional, a caregiver, the individual themselves. We're trying to connect them to resources that are available in our communities, as well as nationwide, to help improve their quality of life and their situation. So some of our key programs, we have our elderly nutrition program that serves all of our counties. The great thing about Shelby County in particular is that there's no waiting list for that county. So that's a great asset for here in the area that we cover, but it is available for the rest of our counties as well, although there may be a waiting list. But that program provides homebound meals as well as meals in our senior centers. So that's a very important program that we are very proud of. We also have our caregiver support program that we went over, Alabama Cares, as well as now our PANDA program covering Shelby County. We have a medication assistance program where they work directly with the manufacturers to get low cost or no cost drugs. That's called our Senior RX program. We have insurance counseling for those individuals who that are not familiar with Medicare plans. Those typically change every year, the rates and different costs. So Can you, I see where my volume is real low. I don't know how I can improve that. I'm still new to the Zoom world, but I'll try to speak up a little bit. Maybe that'll help. We have a senior employment program again that's just in Jefferson, or excuse me, we have all 5 of our counties, including Jefferson County, for senior employment. So what that is a program that we provide. We work with host agencies to provide, I think it's around 20 to 30 hours of work per week that we pay for on behalf of our participants for our CSEP program to help create new job skills and hopefully sustain long-term employment. We also have legal assistance through our elder law attorney. She covers most of the northern part of the state, but she can help with advanced directives, powers of attorneys, living wills, those sorts of things. We also have an elder abuse prevention task force or model that we try to, we do workshops. We constantly have things in our newsletter, on our Facebook page that we promote elder justice, as well as our 2 large programs, Medicaid waiver and our ombudsman program. Medicaid waiver is in short, it's a program that helps to delay entry into a long-term care facility. So that brings services actually into the home, into the community, to prevent an individual who might be on the threshold of going into a long-term care, whether it be assisted living, a nursing home. It kind of helps provide those services at a cheaper rate in the community, and it makes the family much happier to receive the services at home. Our ombudsman program is actually an individual who speaks on behalf of the family and the resident in regards to between them and the facility itself. So he's kind of the middleman, he and she, there's actually 2 that kind of speak on behalf if there's any type of situations or complaints or even positive notes that need to be addressed with the facility or with the family. Traditionally, you go through how we've kind of done in the past is you call into our agency to get screened for services that might be available for you and your family. Now we've actually opened it up to where you can actually go on our website, www.m4a.org/referral, where you can actually make a referral online now at your leisure. You can do this on behalf of someone else. You can do this for yourself, and you can kind of do it in your own time so that it makes it a little bit easier for you to make that referral when everything's kind of going on, and kind of do it at your own pace and at your own time. It's not an enormous amount of information. It just helps us get the basic information that we need to kind of know what type of services are needed prior to going into the call. Of course, I've added our YouTube logo to this now because we're active on these 4 larger social network streams that we have going. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. Again, we record these videos and we post them on our YouTube channel. It'll probably take us a couple of days, but we'll have it up. We do have the 3 previous ones, with our most recent being a food-related one where we had a couple of chefs join us to offer a couple of recipes that are great for stretching and healthy and easy to make. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to share it with anybody that you think might benefit from these, whether it be live, whether it be them referring back to, because we feel that these can be both educational, fun, and ultimately give caregivers a break from their busy schedules. We hope that you will join us next time. We do have it already scheduled. It will be June the 6th, I believe, is the date. Let me confirm that.
No, June 3rd.
3rd. I thought that was a typo. It's June the 3rd. So I will correct that whenever we repost this video, but it is June the 3rd from 1 to 2. And we will be joined by Ms. Karen Collins, who's with Music Therapy Milestones. She's going to be going over with us. We're really excited about this one, going over how music and music therapy can help with individuals who have cognitive impairments, specifically dementia-related diagnoses. So we are really excited about this and really eager to learn how powerful of a tool that music can be when caring for a loved one with dementia. So I don't see any more questions in our Q&A or in our chat, but if you have any, please feel free to post those in there and we'll do our best to answer those. If not, we can certainly get back with you. Let me make sure. I did want to touch on our newsletter as well. Make sure when you go to our website, you can actually join our newsletter. Again, there's a prompt that will tell you that you have the opportunity there to join our newsletter. Again, it's twice a week right now because of the situation we're in. We're trying to get as many resources out as we can. But if you have, like if you're a professional listening to this and you have an event coming up, a webinar or something similar to Coffee Break that you want to promote to the community, feel free to let us know and we'll try to add that in with our newsletter. I think that reaches over 1,000 people every time it goes out. So we definitely want to make sure we get the word out about community resources. Okay, so here is our contact information. Once we get back into normal operations, for now we're working from home primarily, but we are located at 209 Claverdale Circle in Alabaster, which is right across from the Saginaw Post Office if you're going down Highway 31 headed towards Galera from Alabaster. But of course, if you need to mail us anything, our mailing address is P.O. Drawer 618, Saginaw, Alabama 35137. Again, our physical address is 209 Cloverdale Circle, Alabaster, Alabama 35007. Or you can contact our number at 205-670-5770. And then if you're calling in particular, or if you're calling to speak with someone in particular, you can ask for them by name and they will transfer your call to whoever it is that you're looking to speak with. And then, of course, we have our website, www.m4a.org. We encourage you to check that out. We post different things that are happening on there. Most all of our programs have a dedicated page, especially like with our Panda program, our Panda project, we just started a new webpage to post links to our coffee break. We always have the most recent coffee break edition or session on that webpage, so it's readily available for you to watch directly from that page. So I don't see any more questions or comments. We really appreciate everybody joining us today, and we hope that you found this to be a benefit. Again, we wish that everyone could participate in vocal questions, but due to the large amount of the individuals that come onto these calls, we try to make it more of a presentation format and give everybody the opportunity to ask questions via the chat module or the Q&A. If you have questions, like if you're on the telephone, or again, if you're watching this at a later date, feel free to reach out to us at panda, P-A-N-D-A, at m4a.org, and we will try our best to get you an answer and get you a resource or respond to you as quick as possible to see how we can help you out. So we will hope you join us next time on June the 3rd, not the 6th, June 3rd from 1 to 2, and we will look forward to talking with you then. Thanks and have a wonderful day.